All right, it's July 17th, 2016. Still couldn't get those bolts broken loose. Um, so I watched some more videos. I think it was Dag Pigelli. Um, did something that I thought might help, um, which was that he rolled his over. Um, which I think might have given him better access to the bolts. Although I may be able to get the same effect just by shifting it closer to the Audi. I require rotating around and stuff. I thought I'd switch gears a little bit and attack the cotter pins into those holes to hold the casting nut on the ends. And then I have to go through my giant socket box, see if I've got something to go on those to get those all broken. Pretty sure that I've loosened these. Start with those cotter pins. Alright, so I got it out on this side. I had to, you couldn't really tell, but the spreading ends had bent backwards some, so they kind of jammed up in there. So I straightened them with the screwdriver, and then I used a little punch. I got this set from Northern Tools. It's really highly rated. It's been really good so far. But I was able to get it tapped out. So I'll be sure to put the replacements in so that they flare in a way that you can actually get to them from the tunnel. Make sure I see what size nut that is so we can loosen it up. Alright, got both of them out. Using the air gun at 150 psi. Seems like if you do lots of pulses, eventually it pops off, but we got those. So now I've got an 11/16 socket with a 1/2 inch drive. I'm gonna go ahead and bang off those bolts holding the disc brake on that I couldn't get before. Shooting it from the end, I think I'll be able to make sure it's fully seated. Oh, it looked like it was going to be Sadville. So I was taking the brake rotor nuts off, and this one is like a bizarre combination of sizes, or it's just been worn so much that 5/8 and 11/16 kind of sort of really didn't fit. And it's the last one. I thought I was going to end up having to get the die grinders out and cut it up. But I used the sledge and hammered the socket on, and worked it with that for a little while, and then used the 2 foot or 2.5 feet of copper pipe over the wrench or the ratchet and got it out. But one thing to note is, see the nylon? Nylon melts when it gets hot. Brake rotors get hot. That's why the manual explicitly says, do not use nylon lock nuts. Fortunately, nothing fell off, so we're good. This is kind of weird too that I noticed. Derek actually picked up on it too. But it looks like the brake rotors are sandwiched. Like there's a ring of rod loop in a loop, and then 3/32 thick steel plates welded to either side or something. I'm not sure, but really weird. Never seen anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and proceed with the disassembly. Alright, this is more record keeping than anything else. I took the shims off. The shims go on the outside of the discs. And there's 8 on both sides. I don't know if they're different thicknesses. They don't seem to be, but there's 8 on each side. The yellow ones came off the driver's side, and the red ones came off the passenger side. Alright, I got the hubs and half shafts off. And you can see all the goo piled up in there, grease and dirt and all that kind of stuff. So I'll scrape that out and then I'll take the whole thing out for more power washing. Now I'm trying to get these H-arms, not A-arms, just H-arms off. And there's a long bolt, see it coming out, goes all the way through. I'm gonna go read the manual real quick just to make sure that there isn't some voodoo that you're supposed to do before pulling it out. But getting close, getting close. I wanted to show you one more thing. Yeah, my storage system isn't yet perfected. Those are all part of my brake. Sorry. Okay. No, probably the other one's better. It's great video making, right? So, I spent about an hour out there power washing. The problem with power washing is that it's line of sight. You can only power wash what you can see. Worse than that, it's really line of sight for the gun. And so I couldn't get an angle to get that stuff out. And that's one of the things I think is an advantage of the chelate over sandblasting. One, there's no sand all over, left in all the crevices and the cavities and stuff. But two, it goes everywhere. And so as long as it gets it wet, and keeps it wet, you know, for however much time is necessary, it'll remove all the rust. Whereas sandblasting won't. It'll only remove the rust where you can see it. That makes people feel good, but that means that there's still rust there. So that's one of the big advantages I see with the chelate. Let's see, there was something else. So I looked in the manual on how to remove these, and it doesn't say anything. So I'm going to assume that I can just pull them. Not sure how yet, but I'll figure it out. I use my long extension to get it started, so I'll just go ahead and keep doing it that way and get them out. And then that should allow the brake rotor to come out. And then with the brake rotor out, I'll get Derek to help me. He's inside making sweet basil and tomatoes with his latest tomato and basil crop. But I'll have him come out. We'll flip this thing over. We'll pull off the bottom plate, which is these nuts. Takes out that plate down there. And then we'll flip it back over and we'll take these out. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you is that so these bolts, the nuts that go on here, that are supposed to be steel locking nuts and not nylocks like we're on here because of the heat. What I'm going to do when I replace those is use stage 8 locking fasteners. They have like a camshaft lobe looking tab that goes over the bolt, and then it's held in place with a little C-clip, and so it physically locks the fastener in and it can't spin off. We had a hell of a time with Blaze's MR2's turbo downpipe loosening up. We used those and boop, never had the problem again. So we'll do that because that's a lot better. Might do them up here. Not sure about the brake calipers, but we might think about that. Think about them there too. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish trying to drift this thing out. See how we go. All right, so I used that to get it most of the way out, and but it's still jammed in there good. So took the nut off this side, put a couple of sockets so I can hit on the sockets, and it's coming out slowly, but it's coming out without too much force. All right, this is the driver's side half shaft. Here I'm documenting what was on the car, not what is right. I'll need to look in the manuals or the SNG Barrett catalog has good exploded diagrams. So on the driver's side, the front, there was one big ass washer on the outside, and two big ass washers on the inside. On the back, there's one big ass washer on the outside and one big ass washer on the inside. Now, interestingly enough, this is also the side with the tear in the frame. So I don't know if those are related or not. But we have the documentation now, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that other side out. All right, got this side out. Only took a couple minutes. This reminds me of the song by The Clash called London Calling about nuclear war. And there's a line in it where they go, if grandmother or any other member of the family should die whilst in the shelter, put them outside, but remember to tag them first for identification purposes. Because that's what we're doing here. It's kind of crazy. So we have on this side, this is passenger side, we have one big ass washer on the outside. Then they have these little goony goo goo seals. And then on the back side there is one big ass washer, and then an amalgamation of seal-y things and little washer. And then on the passenger side there was no washer on the outside, and there are two washers on the inside. Well, is it two or is it three? It looks like amalgamation of sealy things. So left to right wasn't consistent. Given the nylocks on the brakes, I suspect that's not on purpose. But it's now documented for identification purposes. Alright, so I should be able to get that brake out. Passenger side brake, and then the rotor, should be able to get the rotors out at both sides because they're all unattached, and then I'll probably have Derek come and help me flip this sucker over. Alright, so I was thinking about it and decided to try to take the cage off and leave the diff sitting on the base plate. And those are all 3/4. I used the impact, but they all came out really easy. So no muss, no fuss. Yeah, if it wasn't for the interior getting soaked because the convertible top didn't work, it pretty much would have been a rust-free car. This has all been relatively easy except for the effects of the DPO, the dreaded previous owner, using nylocks on a brake rotor. Anyway, I was showing Derek something that was cool going through the Bentley manual, because there's a section which is the pages are all broken out of it. You know, it's an old book, but it's how to prep your E-type for the racetrack. And one of the things they have, which I may do just for shits and giggles, is they show how to create brake ducts to run air from underneath the car over the brake rotors to cool them. Again, those are the weirdest looking brake rotors I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like that. And I don't. Oh yeah, there's a seam where it was welded, so it clearly looks like it's a piece of rod. But the center section all feels like it's one piece. So I don't know, just really weird. There's hardly any wear at all on the rotor. So I'll measure them out. Maybe just have them turned. Well, and chelated and painted, of course. So I'm going to go and lift the cage off. I think I'll just organize stuff after that because I need to break up the brake lines a little bit. At least one more, maybe two more pieces. So it'll be easier to pack. And then this evening I'll bring down the pressure washer again and take the individual pieces out and get them blasted up so that everything will be clean, and then I can attack things one at a time. So I can, rebuild the brakes in the house. I'm not sure about pressing out the or disassembling the half shafts and stuff. I'll have this all taken apart so I can get that all painted up. So there we go. All right, I'm gonna wrap up. Guys, gotta put tools away and stuff, but everything is tagged and bagged except for the brake lines, which I don't have a bag big enough for that. That's gonna go back outside to get pressure washed this evening, as well as buddies over here. The calipers are bagged and tagged. Any bolts have been reinserted where they came from. One thing I was noticing is that there's no signs of significant leakage. There. In these seals, but we're going to go ahead and pull the shafts and replace the seals anyway. And this one was probably leaking. I had good angle line of sight on this one, so pressure wash did really good. But there was a lot of goo there. But Wheeler Dealers, they show how to change this without having to go through the full disassembly of the rear end. And but we will pop off the cover and make sure it's all clean inside, and then there's very little play. That's as much play as I can get without the output shafts moving. There's no up and down play, so I suspect that the bearings are all good. And it's not like it's a daily driver cross country hauler. So I think we're going to be good with just the tidying up. Obviously that's going to be more work because we got to weld that. And somebody was saying that those are galvanized. So you have to make sure you get all the galvanizing off and then wear the masks, because the galvanized smoke is evil. So I think that is about it. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you, hold on, let me switch to getting the light on. The other thing I was going to show you is, I have no idea how you're supposed to get that nut out. can get an open end wrench on there, but I'm not sure. Sorry, how much turning you can do. So I looked in the manual. I didn't see anything, but I'll take another look again. Obviously, it's got to come off. It's just not clear how that happens, because you can't even get at it from underneath, because see that reinforcing thing there. So at first I thought, well, once it's separated from the base plate, then you can get at it from below and you get enough arc to actually get it off, but that is not the case. And you can almost imagine a union rep and a member of the Labour Party in the UK where Jaguar's going, well, if we grind this out during the manufacturing process, we can get these assembled in half the time. And they're going, no, because then you're going to have to lay off some people or put them on something else that might be more productive. But that one, I'm not sure how that little bugger is going to come out. So we'll see. Maybe when it's all cleaned up, it'll become clear.